Stand on any street corner in modern London and you'll hear dozens of languages within minutes. Nearly 40% of the people around you were born outside the United Kingdom. It's one of the most diverse cities on Earth. But here's the question that changes everything. How did this place become London at all? If we rewind the clock almost 2,000 years, this global metropolis disappears completely. No skyscrapers, no bridges, no crowds. Just marshy land beside a slow, tidal river. Strategically pointless to almost everyone, except one empire. In the year 43 AD, 4 Roman legions land on Britain's southern coast. Their mission is simple but dangerous: conquer, control, and connect. To do that, they need a reliable crossing point over the River Thames, a place narrow enough to build a bridge and strong enough to support an army. They find it right here. Within just a few years, Londinium is born. What starts as a military supply post quickly transforms into a bustling trading town. Merchants arrive from Gaul, soldiers from Syria, traders from North Africa. Cultures collide, languages mix. The Romans build a bridge exactly where London Bridge still stands today, anchoring the city's future to this single crossing. But prosperity doesn't last long. Just 17 years after its founding, disaster strikes. A rebellion led by Queen Boudica sweeps through the region. Londinium is burned to the ground. The flames are so intense that archaeologists can still find a layer of red ash beneath the modern city, a silent witness buried under centuries of growth. Most cities would have ended there. London didn't. The Romans return. They rebuild bigger, stronger, and more ambitious than before. Massive stone walls rise around the settlement. Forums, bathhouses, and amphitheaters reshape the landscape. Londinium is no longer a frontier outpost, it's now the most important city in Roman Britain. At its peak, nearly 60,000 people live here. But an even bigger question is coming: what happens to a city when the empire that created it suddenly walks away? That's where London's real survival story begins. At the height of its power, Londinium looked unstoppable. Stone walls surrounded the city. Trade flowed in from across the Roman world. Wine from Gaul, olive oil from Spain, coins stamped with imperial authority. But empires don't collapse overnight, they rot from the edges inward. By the early 5th century, Rome itself is under attack. Barbarian armies are pushing in from every direction, and the empire is running out of soldiers, money, and time. Britain is distant, expensive, and suddenly not worth defending. In 410 AD, Emperor Honorius sends a message that changes London forever: Rome will no longer protect you. The legions leave. And when they go, everything holding the city together goes with them. Trade routes collapse almost instantly. The ships stop coming. Roman coins lose their value. Skilled craftsmen leave in search of safer opportunities. Government disappears. Within a single generation, a city that once held tens of thousands shrinks to a few hundred people living among abandoned stone shells. Roofs cave in. Streets crack apart. Weeds push through once polished mosaic floors. Londinium becomes a ghost city, vast, silent, and slowly falling back into the earth. For nearly 2 centuries, the old Roman city stands largely empty. To later settlers, the ruins seem impossible. One Saxon poet will later describe them as the work of giants, unable to believe humans could have built something so massive. Yet one thing never stops moving: the River Thames. And rivers have a habit of attracting people, even when cities fail. By the late 6th and early 7th centuries, new settlers arrive, the Saxons. But they don't rebuild the Roman city. They avoid it. They fear it. Instead, they create something new a mile to the west, a trading settlement called Londonwick, London's trading town. Here, commerce returns. Goods flow in from the Baltic, the Rhineland, and Frankish Europe. By the early 700s, thousands live here. London is alive again, but not where you might expect. And just as stability begins to return, a new threat appears on the river. The Vikings are coming. By the early 8th century, Londonwick is thriving. Trade ships arrive loaded with amber, pottery, metalwork, and wine. Markets buzz with activity. London feels stable again. But stability attracts attention, and from the sea, danger is watching. In the late 700s, Viking longships begin appearing on the River Thames. At first, they raid and vanish. Then they come back stronger. These are no longer hit-and-run attacks. The Vikings sail directly upriver, striking the heart of the settlement. In 842, Londonwick is completely sacked. In 851, it happens again. Homes are burned. Trade collapses. Fear takes over daily life. London is once again on the edge of extinction. Enter Alfred the Great. In 886, after years of war with the Danes, Alfred retakes London and makes a decisive move. Instead of defending the exposed trading town, he abandons it entirely. He relocates the population back inside the ancient Roman walls, walls that had stood, broken but powerful, for centuries. The old city is reborn as a fortress. Ditches are recut. Defenses repaired. London is now called Londonburg, the fortified city. The move works. The Vikings struggle to breach the defenses, and London survives. The abandoned Saxon settlement earns a new name, Aldwych, meaning the old trading place. That name still exists today as a curved street in central London, a rare linguistic fossil of the city's forgotten past. Over the next 100 years, London changes hands repeatedly between Saxon and Danish rulers. In 1016, King Knut, the Viking ruler famous for the legend of commanding the tide, makes London his capital. Then comes a decision that shapes London forever. In 1042, King Edward the Confessor builds a great church west of the city, Westminster Abbey. From that moment on, London becomes two places at once, the city of money, and the city of power. But Edward dies without an heir. And in 1066, England doesn't just change rulers, it changes identity. Across the Channel, a duke is preparing to invade. His name is William of Normandy. And London is about to enter its most dramatic transformation yet. When William of Normandy wins the Battle of Hastings in October 1066, England falls under foreign rule. But London is not easily controlled. Its people had supported the previous king, Harold Godwin's son, and William knows rebellion is only a matter of time. His response is not compromise, it is stone. William orders the construction of 3 fortresses around the city. The most powerful of them becomes the Tower of London. At first, it is not a palace. It is a warning. Rising nearly 90 feet high with walls 12 feet thick, the White Tower dominates the skyline, broadcasting one message: resistance is useless. Medieval London grows tightly packed within its walls. Streets are narrow. Buildings lean over one another. The air smells of smoke, animals, and refuse. But beneath the chaos, wealth is growing. By 1100, around 15,000 people live in the city, and its merchants are becoming powerful. Trade guilds form, goldsmiths, drapers, fishmongers, controlling prices, standards, and influence. These guilds grow so strong that even kings must negotiate with them. In 1215, when rebellious barons force King John to sign the Magna Carta, London's support proves decisive. In return, the city secures rare freedoms, the right to elect its own mayor and protection from arbitrary taxation. London is no longer just a city, it is a political force. At the center of daily life stands London Bridge, rebuilt in stone between 1176 and 1209. For over 600 years, it is the only bridge across the Thames. Houses, shops, and even a chapel line its length. Severed heads of traitors are displayed on spikes as grim warnings to all who enter the city. By the mid-1300s, London is crowded, confident, and powerful. But an invisible enemy is approaching, carried not by armies, but by ships. In 1348, rats arrive at London's docks. And riding on their fleas is a bacterium that will change the city forever. The Black Death has reached London. When the plague reaches London in 1348, it moves faster than fear. Streets that were once crowded fall silent almost overnight. Victims die within days. Families vanish. Within 2 years, between 1/3 and half of London's population is dead. A city of nearly 80,000 people is suddenly hollowed out. Entire neighborhoods are abandoned. Mass graves are dug beyond the city walls as the dead pile up faster than they can be buried. Yet London survives. Slowly, painfully, it grows again. By the late 14th century, trade returns, but so do tensions. In 1381, anger explodes. Peasants and workers march on London demanding fair taxes and an end to oppression. Led by Wat Tyler, they storm the Tower of London, execute the Archbishop of Canterbury, and burn the palace of John of Gaunt. The revolt is crushed. Tyler is killed. The leaders are hunted down. But the message is clear: the people of London have discovered their power, and the ruling class will never forget the fear they felt. By 1500, London's population rebounds to around 50,000, and then something extraordinary happens. It explodes. Under the Tudor monarchs, the city transforms. Henry VIII's break from the Catholic Church in the 1530s leads to the dissolution of monasteries. Vast amounts of land suddenly become available, fueling expansion and wealth. By 1901, it has more than 6 million, the largest city the world has ever seen. Iconic landmarks appear: Trafalgar Square, Big Ben, Tower Bridge, the world's first underground railway. Beneath it all, a revolutionary sewer system finally cleans the Thames, saving countless lives. But the 20th century brings destruction. 2 world wars. Bombs falling night after night during the Blitz. Entire neighborhoods erased. And yet, London endures. It rebuilds once more, welcoming people from across the former empire, the Caribbean, South Asia, Africa, Eastern Europe. By the 21st century, London is again transformed. A city of glass towers and ancient stone. Over 300 languages spoken. Cultures layered on top of one another, just like its history. London has been burned, abandoned, invaded, bombed, and rebuilt, again and again. That's what makes it London. Not perfection, but survival. A city that refuses to disappear. And after 2,000 years, it's still pulling people in. Thanks for watching.